Dave here, how are you? Today is the 15th of December 2019, Christmas just around the corner. I hope you've had a good week and everything is going well. It is here, well, within reason. You know, we've got the fires still happening, a lot of smoke around, but looking forward to clear skies. All right, today on the show, you'll notice I'm down this end of the workshop, and that is for a very good reason. This is where we're going to be doing stuff today. I'll read through what we've got on. Let's put some light on the subject. New light fittings from start to finish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put more of these in this workshop. Now I have them around the rest of the room and it's great, but you will notice when I go over to this corner, it gets a bit dark, and if I go over to this corner, and this is the main one, it gets very dark over here. Now you'll probably think, well, you know, that's okay, but the problem is this is the old workbench that I've got, and I like to have a lot of light here. Where the light is at the moment, there's only one up there at the moment, it's too close over the top of me, I'm working in a shadow. So the intention is to move it back a little bit so I get a bit of bounce off the wall and have it so I can put 1, 2 or 3 up here if I want to. Now I'm going to achieve that by milling some timber, and we'll do that on the show and we'll fit it. And I'm going to do it in such a way where I can put the light fitting in or out like that. It's a little trick that if you've done aluminium windows before, taken a window out, put it back in, same principle. For those that are heads up, there you go. The next thing. Viewers input, Paul Mumford's sharpening station. He sent some photos in and a bit of a story about it. We'll have a quick look at that. Ian Kerry has said yes to coming on the show. He really did want to come and try and make it this week, but he couldn't. So close to Christmas. Too many family commitments. I guess you've got the same kind of thing happening where life is just getting too hectic at this stage. Time lapse of a 3D print of the legs for the Stanton bench. John said, look, what I'll do is I'll take a video over the 12 hours that it takes to print one set. That's 6 legs. And you know what? How about we have a look at that right now, if I can find it. Legs for the bench, here we go. This is 12 hours. Pretty amazing. There you go. You know, I'm sure in the life of the universe, our own life is not even, that would have been an eternity in comparison. Also, resin pouring. What can go wrong? And I had a blue this week, as in a mistake. It's an Australian term for a mistake. It's a blue. Yep. And I've got some video of the resin that I left in a pot, and I'll give you an explanation for why some resins bubble in a particular situation. So I'll do that a little bit later on in the show. Support the channel through Patreon and Amazon, links below, and thank you to everyone who's been doing that. The people on Patreon are watching the project that I'm making in the background at the moment. You can't see it here, but the resin was part of it. I'll give you a bit of a hint. That's some of the resin I've been pouring. More on that later on. What's happening in your shed? We want to see your workshop. Here's a bit of a 3D thing. Your workshop. All right. And the last week, you know that we've had the spindle or bobbin sander. My phone's here somewhere. I've lost the thing, but I'll find it. Someone will ring me up soon. You watch. The bobbin sander or spindle sander that, pardon me, start that again. The bobbin or spindle sander, the benchtop one that Carbotech are selling, and they're offering you a chance to go into the running for a $500 gift card. I'm going to finish that off this week. So this is the last week. Phone's ringing all over the place. And I will say to them, that's it for the year. And then we'll do the draw and we'll let people know for Christmas. What do you think? that's my plan. Carbotech may have other ideas, but that's what I'm going to put to them. That thing's going crazy. It's here. Yeah, found it. It's over there on the bench. Later on after the show, I'll get it. All right. That is it. So I'll leave the link in the description box down the bottom. If you want to get one, I think they're around $500, $4.99 or something like that. And you get the chance to win a $500 gift card from Carbotech. You know, but you have to use Stanton, S-T-A-N-T-O-N, in as the promo code in their checkout cart, and can only be done online. All right, that's enough of the waffling on. Let's hook in. We're going to do this strip of timber first, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. This is what we're going to do. Now, that's one piece of timber. The picture at the bottom is how I'm going to mill it, and the picture at the top is showing the two sections after I have milled it. Let's do it. First off, we're going to go down the other end of the workshop and run the piece of wood that I found out in the timber rack. It's an old piece. I'm going to run it through the thickness planer and switch the cameras to all the way down there. Okay, I'm heading down there now. I'm hoping I've got things set up. Here's my piece of wood. And I've got some eye muffs down here, and I've got the remote as well. I've got the depth pretty much set to correct. It's just sitting on top of the motor there. Trying to get a little bit more organized. Now, everything's hooked up. Let's see if the dust extractor is going to work. Yes, it is. And I can hear it sucking air through here at the moment. This might be a little bit boring, but there you go. First pass, unlock the head, goes down, half a turn, and through again. I love this machine. Nice and portable. I can put it anywhere in the workshop. It's on wheels. I'm going to turn the machine off for a second while I lower the head. It has a depth gauge on the front as well, which I will take advantage of. And unlock the head, lower it down. Until it starts to touch it. There we go. Should be good. It's not super. Yeah, I should have taken it down a bit more. I'll give it one more pass there. That doesn't look clean at all. We'll see a difference this time. Look at that old wood now. You watch. That's better. Look at that, brand new. It's always a good idea to tail the timber out so you don't pop any snipe at the other end. Beautiful. And I'll take it down half a turn. And the last part. raw finger joint is fine, and it doesn't matter, you know, it's up on the ceiling. And that guy as well. Lovely. Now I've got to put it through the machine, through the table saw. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? I'll take those off because I'm probably shouting at everyone. Now what we've got here, I'll turn this around just a little, make sure that I can see what's happening here with this. That's better. All right. I'm going to take the blade out and I'm going to put the dado stack on. I'm going to set it to 15 millimeters deep. This doesn't need to be there at the moment. The reason being, the dado, when it's cutting, totally encloses the blade. So I take this off. And I'm going to raise that up all the way. Take the plastic blade out. Well, it's not made of plastic, obviously. This is the blade for Perspex and what have you. Now, last week, I was talking about acrylic and Perspex and all of that stuff being the same. Now, I had a couple of people call me out on that and said, Dave, it's not the same. Acrylic is acrylic and polycarbonate is polycarbonate, polyethylene is polyethylene. Now, these other ones, polyethylene and polycarbonate, are much stronger but more flexible. Acrylic is very rigid and brittle and not as strong. But I did make comment during the show that there are many, many different types of plastics, and we tend to label, it depends on where you live. In Australia, me particularly, I've labelled all of those things Perspex, because when I'm talking to customers or talking to people in general, they see it the same way as the majority of people in the public arena who don't have much to do with it. Perspex is a clear kind of a plastic sheet. That's it. They don't understand polycarbonate. They don't understand acrylic. Perspex, it's a name. Same, I'm probably talking about this too much, but Band-Aids is a brand. Hoover is a brand of vacuum cleaners. They don't say the Dyson, they say they grab a Hoover or Hoover the carpet. Anyway, that is my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Now, why isn't this one opening up, David? Oh, those things are pushing in. Lovely. Now, the dado stack that I'm using is the Torquetta or Torquata. Make sure when you put it in that the blades are around the right way. So this is the outside and it's got an arrow for rotation. I'll pop that up there, turn it up this way, and I'm going to put the full stack in. So this is the outside and it's going to go to there. That's going on first. And these are the chippers. So I'll put the chipper on next. And they drop in between. Put that over there. I don't like putting blades down on the cast iron top. Now, why didn't I do all this first before the show started? Well, you know what? Some people like to see dado stacks going in. A bit of oil on there catching it. It's a big monster, isn't it? And this is the last one. Basically, it's the cover plate. I'm going to make sure that it's not catching any of the other blades. Okay, got all that? Now I need to put the flange back on and the nut. Now, a lot of saws will not take a dado stack because the arbor isn't long enough and the saw's not designed for it. Let me see if I can get that on there. Yes. And this needs to be given a bit. And ordinarily, I don't give the spanners a whole heap of grunt on it, But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave the flange off on purpose because it doesn't need to have all that reinforcement. And I just want to get a bit more grip with the nut, even though I was just talking about it then saying, yeah, it's fine. Get it back. The flange is basically designed to stiffen a 3.2 millimeter blade, 1/8. I'll show you what the flange is. That thing there, that's designed to put a whole lot of stiffness on that blade. Now, seeing the stack has thickness already, it doesn't really need that on it. This nut will pull up very nicely. And I just feel a little bit happier having a few more threads of the nut onto the arbor than I would have had before. That's got it. Now I can see the arbor itself coming out the side. That makes me a lot happier. All right, next thing to do is to lower that stack down. And I needed to turn that around as well. That's the clamp. And I'm going to put this cover plate on, or throat insert. And that's going to go there. And now I can raise the stack up and raise it until it's 15 millimeters above. Now you'll see at the moment that's not 15. I've got around about 10 millimeters there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring this back and lock it in position. Lower the dado stack down. And I'm going to use the other end of this one. I'm going to hold that. So I'm holding this tightly either side. I'm not actually putting any part of my body in danger, and I'm not putting this over the top of where the blade's going to go. I will put the eye muffs on, and I'm not going to turn the dust extraction on while this happens. Well, you know what? Maybe I will. I think I will. Table saw is on. I'll shut that port and open the other one up. Close that. And coming back. All right, dust extraction first, as always. That's pulling down through there. Turning the stack on, I'm going to stand back from it while I start it up. Beautiful. Now I can raise it up slowly. Turn her off. I think that's deep enough. I'm going to wait until it stops, totally stops. Excellent. Good. Just folding those ones down a little bit because I do not want, as I push the timber over it, I don't want to catch on anything. Now, this ruler at the back is basically a waste of time having it there now, because the blade is ordinarily there, so the stack is all to the right hand side. So I'm just going to move that out of the way, and I have to measure by hand. And I had a little plan there, which I'll grab, and also there's something else I'm going to do to make this a lot safer. Now the plan is to have 20 millimeters to the side of the stack. So I can use my tape to measure that, and it doesn't have to be super accurate, but there's 20 millimeters, close enough. Now, I'm going to use this. Now, this is the Jessem clear-cut stocks guides for my router table. I built this jig to be able to use this also on the table saw. And the reason I'm using this is because I want to apply pressure directly down on top of that dado. These things are one direction only, they rotate, and they pull things in against the fence. On the back here, I have mag switches, and it's going to lock it down onto there. So I'm going to turn those mag switches on. I can't lift it off. And also, I have clamps that allow me to move this backwards and forwards. I'm just going to lock them on where they are. I think that'll be fine. That moves around because if I have the dado hard up against here, I've got a sacrificial piece that I can put in against there. Have a look at the video that I did. I'll pop that up in the corner. Let me see, I think it'll be up in this corner up here. Now on board I also have a magnet, and it's for these guys to unlock and unlock and put the piece of timber in under it and down to there, and I'm going to move it sideways. I'm going to come around the side here and have a look and lower this one down as well. I'm just doing a bit of sighting here. Okay, so that's going to hold it down nicely on the stack. I can tighten this up. And this one. Gotcha. All right. So this is a safe way to use the dado stack. It's going to be pushing it down and pulling it in against the fence. All I have to do is feed the timber in, and you can see already it's got it, and it can't turn backwards. It's a great little system. The other end, also, I have this. So when I built the table saw outfeed table, I put a T-track in here as well because I don't want the back to lift up. So I have this to hold onto it. Beautiful. Pretty cool, isn't it? I'll move a couple of things here because I have to make sure that I have an area for everything to exit. Good. And I know I've already checked that I have the distance for the timber to go right the way through. Put the eye muffs on. And the other thing is, when I get to the end, don't ever have your hand over the end of the timber as you're pushing it through. I will put my hand over the back and just sneak it off right at the end. Okay? You'll see what I mean when I do it. Check my measurements. Turn the dusty on. And the dust extractor will actually work this time as well. The timber's not in contact with the dado stack at all. Everything's fine there. That's all secured. It's a good idea just to run through a little checklist. Let me see, I'm 20 across, yes. I'm 15, I think. Let's do a check on the depth. I did that by sighting. I'm just a touch over 15, but it's not going to worry me. I'm going to put this back on the jig, so I know where it is, and turn the saw on. I'm going to turn the saw off. That back roller is just a little bit too tight. I'm going to wait until I know the saw's stopped. Get the Allen key. Now, I'm strong enough to be able to push it through, but the thing is when you're near the end, that could be a problem. So I'll back this off. That's better. Pull it. I'm going to start it up in there and it should be fine. There we go. Much easier. dust. Now, with those rollers holding it, there's no chance of kickback. This is also a reason why I put it through the planer thicknesser, so I had a constant thickness to keep me safe while I was doing this stage. Push stick up. Now at this point now, I'm going to leave that there, go to the other end and tail it out. And I always wait for the blade to finish before I go near it. But how good is that? I love it. Now, I need to measure the width. I've got 20 from the left-hand side. Remember, I've turned it over, so this is the left-hand side. 20. The dado's cut there is 22. I need to go another 10 millimeters. So now I can use the tape on the table saw to move it 10 millimeters after I release this guy. I'm on 40 at the moment. I'll take it to 50. There's my 10. I will pop this piece there to have a quick look to make sure that it's going to be right. Yes. I might sneak it back just a little bit. I want a little bit more meat on it than that. Come around this side and anchor this again. It's worthwhile to do this stuff to keep safe. It really is. If you're someone that's done this heaps of times, you're probably thinking, Dave, come on. This is obvious. There's so many people that are new and I don't want to give them bad habits. Here we go. All right. Now this one will probably throw a bit of dust out the end because I now have a channel open all the way through. But we should be okay. We'll go a bit quicker too. I'm not cutting as much. Then I'm going to stop there and go to the other end. Beautiful. I'll wait for the blade to stop and then we're going to put the rip blade in. When I find it, there it is. They spin for a long time, dado stacks. Very careful with them. Done. All right, I can release this now. And as I said before, I've got these 3 points here, which allow this to move backwards or forwards, so I can overhang or not. It's a smart little jig. I like it. All right. Take the stack out. Release that. This is traditional, all-American woodwork. You guys in the States love your table saws. All right, let's pull that out. These are inserts that I've made as well. They're so much easier than shop board. I'll razor up. And this particular saw has a lock there. And where's my spanner? Look, there it is. And also the flange. We'll undo and remove the stack. Gotcha. We've had a lot of smoke lately. Today, or even last night, we had a little bit of rain. Not a lot, but it was welcome to see the rain after the fires that we've been having. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news, but it's been terrible. And also that thing in New Zealand, that's been terrible as well, that volcano erupting. Oh dear. These middle blades are called chippers. So the outside blades probably have a name, but I don't know it. They're probably just called blades. But the chipper's job, all it's doing is clearing what's down the inside of the slot or the dado, and the outside blades are creating a nice clean edge. And the toccata set is absolutely beautiful. There's no kind of little raised slot in the edge. It's just clean all the way. The rip blade, now also with dado stacks, they're 8-inch. This is a 10-inch saw, so you don't need to have such a massive large blade spinning. I'll give you a quick look. So 8-inch versus 10-inch. And always with the teeth at the top facing towards you, because that's the cut direction or the rotation. And it feels like a skinny little flimsy thing after you've had a stack on there. Oh dear. Let's turn it around till it locks. Tightening it up, you don't have to give it to it because the blade actually self-tightens with the direction. It's forcing that nut on even more. I will put the guard back on because it's basically my riving knife. And this is a quick release one, so it's nice and easy to do. And the insert, the throat insert, down, up into this one, and open. Close that one down there. You know, I don't know why people watch this kind of stuff, but some people I seem to like it. I'm going to move this stack over here onto my bench. And we need to set this saw to, we're going to lower the blade down a little to start, about there. That's good. And I want one side, this is where I need my plan. So you see here, I've got 10 millimeters on one side, 20 on the other. And so we need 20 and 10, 30 millimeters, and we'll work from the 20 millimeter side. Okay, so we come over to 30. Yep. And the 10 millimeter side, is it the 10 or the 20? The 20 millimeter side, which is that way, like that. Yes, that's how it's going to go. And I was just thinking about putting the stock guides on. Yeah. Let's use the other ones. The tablesaw stock guides. And again, these mag switch down. I can put them anywhere I want along the run. I'm only going to have the one on it, I think. Yes, just the one. This one, I'll raise it up over there, like so, and it's out of the way. Pretty cool, isn't it? It's nice and quick. I like it. And the dust extractor. So that's all open, that's open, all of that's open. Eye muffs on. One set of eyes per customer. Don't forget it. Dusty on. That's better. Lovely. All good. You know what? That's an accident waiting to happen. I'll explain why. When I finish the cut, that timber is going to go like that. And if it goes like that, the inside is going to drop into the blade and fly that direction. Bad move. So what I'm going to do is release that, spin it end for end. So I've still got the 20 mil on that side. And now I can feed it in this way. Two advantages. It's never going to be a problem for me. And the other advantage is I don't have an open channel to let the dust go flying everywhere. This is stuff that, as time goes by, that's good. A bit more. I'm not going to need to put the clamp in the end. What do you think? It only takes a second. If you've got a fear that something may not be right, stop and think and change it. I probably just lost 10 subscribers. All right, here we go again. Good. All good. Because I've got the stock guides on, I can go to the other end and finish the cut. Done. That is so nice. All right. What's the next thing we've got to do? How are we going for time? Man. Let's have a look at, switch the camera around. That's been boring, hasn't it? We've done nearly 3/4 of an hour on just creating a profile. Not to worry. Look, I enjoy doing it. We will get this project finished, but in the meantime, let's have a quick look at Paul Mumford's thing, his sharpening station. And let's go to Paul. There we go. So we've got, Paul said, "Hi Dave, 2 shows ago you said you would like to see people's sharpening setup. I've attached some photos of mine. I have 2 large double-sided diamond stones and some smaller diamond plates. The large ones are housed in a marine ply bed cut out with a chisel and hand router plane and finger holes to make flipping them easier. The setup also has a bench hook setup." Now I'm going to go to the next one. What you see there is his flex cut strop leather and also a diamond plate, and there underneath that box or that lid are his 2 main sharpening stones. And let's go on. We'll keep on talking. The plates sit on top another piece of marine ply. Because the plates are so thin, using the same method was not possible. Instead, I used countersink screws, there we go, to the plates to hold in position. These screws are screwed down so the head is a safe distance below the plate surface. Sometimes a simple solution is the best. Also have a couple of diamond paddles and stropping board along with a honing guide. And here's how he's hanging the other two over the edge with a bench hook fashion. The setup is getting a bit of work out at the moment as I'm building a workbench, mainly from reclaimed rough sawn Oregon. More of that another time. I'll send you images in pairs, so expect more than one email. And which Paul did. Thank you so much for that, Paul. If you've got something you're doing at home or you think maybe someone will be able to pick up on an idea, Paul's workshop is pretty small, so what he's got, he economizes on space. You notice that he had a cover that goes on top of the stones. He can still keep working on top of that cover if he so desires. And also it'll stop rubbish falling on there and bogging up in between the aggregate and the abrasive. Okay, so we've seen that. We've seen that other stuff there. Let's have a quick look at what can go wrong with resin. Here we go. This is when I actually finished the pour and I still had resin in the container. It was a really odd shape and I didn't know how much to mix up, so I mixed up a fair bit more than I needed. And it had a water-based dye in there as well. Now, when the resin gets really hot, if you bunch it up too much, if you put too much of a volume in one area, remember, this was the same thing, perfect, smaller thickness. That's why they say 10 to 20 millimeters in a pour, which went well. Well, the 10 millimeter part did. And this is what happens if you leave it sitting there too thick. It gets so hot. It turns the water-based dye into steam and goes crazy. That got so hot that I had a hard time actually picking that container up. So it boiled them, and all of that steam just pushed. When water turns to steam, it takes up 1,000 times its volume. So one drop becomes the same space as 1,000 drops. Little bit of primary school science thrown in there for you. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to jump up on the bench here. These panels are fantastic. This is what I've used in the rest of the workshop. And I'm going to put a couple of nails up there. I need my tape measure, which is down here. This part shouldn't take too long. Thank heavens, I hear people saying. So what I'm going to do is, I want these lights, don't know if you can see it there. Let's tip that camera up a little bit. There, you'll be able to see what's happening. I want these lights to be 250 millimeters away. So they're a little bit closer to the wall, so they're not throwing a shadow over me working at the bench here. It's going to come in from the side. Now, just a rough 250 millimeter mark off the wall. That's one. I could have cut a story stick to do this, but it would have taken more time than actually hopping up here. Done. Next thing to do is a hammer and some nails. This is the fun part. What have I got? A couple of clouds, 3 clouds. All right. Now, the reason I'm putting the nails in is because when I'm... Let's get this started. One. I'm also making sure I've got space to open the air conditioner up to get to the filters. Whoop! Nearly took a tumble. That would have been fun, wouldn't it? Yeah, so when I'm pushing the piece of wood back against there, I can only secure it at one point. And so then it'll be in the right place. It's like I've got a helping hand up here. All right, now I need to also put a block at that end to take the end of it. Let's see what I've got. I'll spin the cameras again and we'll just dock a bit of block in half. Look at this, just ordinary earmuffs. Dock this in half like so. That'll do me. And over here, I'm going to drill a couple of holes. Switch the cameras. Tip it down again. I think we'll finish this project. It's amazing. I think it's important with table saws that I explain things as thoroughly as I can. As I said during the show, or during the earlier part, someone might just walk into a store, buy a table saw, and start cutting because they saw some guy on YouTube do it. And it's a hell of a responsibility, and you've got to do it. I've got to do things the careful way. All right, drill. Now, remember, I store all my drills this way up, so if one gets stuck in here, it's not going to cut my fingers while I pull it out. I'm going to use a couple of these batten screws, or bugle screws, whatever you want to call them, 75 millimeters long. And what I do is, in the hole there, I drop it in to see. I'm looking for a clearance hole. That's not enough. It would probably be fine, but I'm going to the 6.5. And look at that, it just drops straight in. That's the hole on the drill that I want. I'm not going to drill a pilot in the rafter, it's going to be okay. But short pieces of old Oregon tend to split if you don't put the correct size clearance in. There we go. Just a couple of holes. Here's one. Two. And I've got a hex driver, like an Allen key or whatever you want to call it. I've got a couple of little things up there I better pull out. Let's spin this camera around again. See what I'm up to. One. Two. Gotcha. Now these are to pick up, or this I should say, is to pick up the tail of the wood. Got the tape there. I'll put a quick mark there as well. Now it's going to be 250. We'll probably go here. I'll probably come back to, see how dark it is here? You know, the rest of the room is really bright. This part is kind of dark. I'm going to come back to 200. Good. And up we go. Cool. Oh, battery's flat. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. It was up in the charging station. I thought it was up there because it was full, but no. It's up there because it needed charging. I'm hoping this one's going to work. These are the older batteries that don't have an indicator on them. Right. You wouldn't read about it, would you? Clutch. Clutch. It wasn't going pip, pip, pip at me. Here we go. I'll put it onto drill. Gotcha. That works a bit better. Done. That's my end anchor. Cool. Now it's the one with 10 millimeter is going at the back. So it's going to go this way. And a couple of screws. Let's see where we're going. I'll put a mark as well. And that goes to the underside there, there, and there. So we need a screw hole there, a screw hole here, and I'm going to use this as a template for the other one, so I don't have to do this again. There. Done. Floor mats don't like me doing that. All right, so that's going to stay that way. That's the base, and this one. Move the hammer out of the way, David. Checking that I have everything here correctly. That's the bottom of the trench. Correct. So that's got to go around this way. The dado left a little bit of a track there for me. And that's the bottom, so that's going to go that way. So I can do the holes there. And which screws are we going to use? Put that drill back. Don't need the nails anymore. I'll use the screws. Tip it down. I'm going to use these guys. 1, 2. How many do I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think if we go with a 4.5, we'll be fine. Yep. Gotcha. Alrighty. Straight in. Yes. I've got to remember that I've got to be in this last section of the meat. And let me think about that for a second. That goes that way. Correct. Correct, that's all good. It's the other one that's the skinny section. And at an angle. Good. Mark the other ones. Isn't this fun? But it's easy to do. This is... That one's going that way, that one's going that way. That's correct. There. There. I'm going to do these from the back side of it. There and there. Good. One. Two. Three. And then flip this one over and go through from here. Done. Crazy. Crazy. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Got 5 minutes left. I think we'll be fine. I need a screwdriver bit for that. So we'll do that now. This one is the back one. That one's the front one. What's going to get me? I know what's going to get me. I can see it already. I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to say, right, now this is the distance I need for the light to sneak in, and it's going to say, you know what? Wrong. I'm hoping I don't get it wrong. Cool. There's 4. And this is why it's so nice to have those nails in there to help me out. Good. Screw in here. Gotcha. And I just realized the camera isn't pointing up. There we go. Down a little. That's good down there. Got that one. And those two. And the last one. Gotcha. Right. Okay, so that's my 10mm slot. So the idea is to slide the light into that, but only after I slide it into this other one, first all the way up and then push it back in. That's why we've got 20mm on the high side and 10 on that side. Now I need to make sure that I put the right distance in. So I need the width of the light, which is 298, 297. I'll write this down so I don't muck it up. 297 is the light itself, and I want to be able to go into there 20 and then back 10. I'm just doing a quick drawing down here. You can watch. This is the part that I'm going to get caught up. You watch. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. Probably can. This end is 20 there. This end is 10 here. The light is 297. So we need that to go back to there, and then this part here. So the opening from here, we'll say that is now from there 297 back to there, less 20. So I can slide it in all the way up to the top. It'll be let's make it 300 so I don't get caught. 300 from there to there, less 20, it'll be 280mm, I think. Fingers crossed. 280mm. If it's not, I can quickly change it. That's the plan. So I'm going to use the nail trick again. 280 from here to there. That's from there to there. Again with the camera. Tip it up. Okay, I'm going to pull that light down, which is just a matter of unscrewing it. These are only on transformers. I'll unplug it from the transformer to start. There we go. And undo this. These are easy peasy lights. Supporting it. Gotcha. Down it comes. Take that screw all the way out because it's going to be a pain. Gotcha. See how dark it is? Well, the camera is adjusted, the lighting, but it's very, very dark here. Now, when I tip it down, you'll be amazed. Okay, what did I say, 280? From the face. 280. And as I said, if I get it wrong, it'll be okay. 300. So 300 up and then back 10. Should be right. 280. And the last one. Over here. 280. move those nails to the front. $280. This is a project that I wanted to do, so I thought, you know what? If it's something I want to do, I'm guessing there's other people out there also have got a similar need, and that is to not drop the nail. I'll get another nail because otherwise it's just going to be a pain. I'm not going to go looking for one, so I'm going to have them here. This one's got to come from the top side. 4 more screws. I've got 3 there. Where's the last one? I'll find it. Found it. Done. Wood would help. Ah, dear. Again, this is why we use those nails to hold things in place. Moment of truth in a second, guys. Moment of truth. I'm not going to put that one in yet, in case I've got to pull these down. Pull the nails so I can actually get them in. Yep. Let's try it. Let's try it. I'll turn it around this way and then up we go. All the way in and then back. It works. How cool is that? How cool is that? I'm really happy with that. And another one. Put a couple in, why not? As I was saying before, so aluminium windows and fly screens and all that kind of stuff go in. I can slide it down that end, pop that up on top. Oh, beautiful. That's it. That's it for the show. If you want to see the lights in action, come back next week. I'm puffed. Oh dear. How's the time? Oh, it's only just past the hour. All right. I'm going to do a quick check. I found that last screw. I'm going to do a quick check. Down the side. Everything's good there. And also, let me know if you prefer this style. It's full HD. I'm able to send it out really clean. I know we're missing the chat on the side, but if you watch the premiere, you can also join in the chat. I think it's going to be over that side. Yep, probably over that side. And all good. All good. Thanks again to all my patrons and for everyone who's supporting me on the Amazon channel especially leading up to Christmas, give me that little thought, yeah, I might get it through Dave's link down the bottom. Doesn't matter what, you click one of those links, it'll take you in. I just follow you around, throw things in the shopping cart. This little show gets a little bit of a kickback. Call a spade a spade. It's a consideration for me introducing you to Amazon, is the official version. It's not a brown paper bag. All right, reading down through, put the lights up, we've done that. Paul Mumford's sharpening station, and again, please send stuff in for me, we'll share it around. Ian Carey sends his apologies. He's probably going, oh dear, I'm sorry to let you down, Dave. But it's okay, Ian, not to worry. Ian also helped me out with my serpentine belt during the week. Sent the car down on a tow truck, put it up on the hoist straight away, said, there you go, Dave, all fixed. He did charge me, and fair enough, and I'm able to drive around again. Time lapse of the 3D print from John Lafferty. Thank you so much for that, John. And it gives you an idea as to how much effort goes into producing these benches. Resin, what can go wrong? A quick explanation of that. And that is all for today, I hope. Let me see if I can find the rest of it. Intro and text would be that one. Thanks for watching. Look after yourself and see you next week. Be nice to each other.